Yeah, so first of all, it's such a pleasure to be your guests. My name is Shiri Benarzi, and I'm the founder of HMCI. And with me, I have Tamar. Tamar, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Tamar Meisel, and I am a caregiver coach. I've been coaching people who are dealing with health issues, either they or someone in their family, for almost 20 years, in different capacities and through different areas. And right now, my passion is really with working with people who are caring for someone else, who are caring for their loved one. And together with Shiri and the whole Health and Medical Coaching Institute, we've created a course and we're teaching other other coaches to open themselves up to this world of how when you're caring for someone whatever level you're caring for someone, it is in every level of your life. And to see that and to witness that. And I'm originally from New York. I live in Israel. I've lived here for the past 40 years. I'm married. I have four children, 10 grandchildren. My 10th one was born last week, and yesterday was his naming celebration. And I'm
Congratulations.
very, 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 very blessed with with children and grandchildren on all parts of the health and wellness spectrum, as I think every family has its own issues and different issues. So that's who I am, a little bit of who I am. And
And
I'm really happy to be here.
and I am Shiri Benarzi, and like I said, I'm the founder and director of HMCI. I am a health and medical coach, a caregiver coach, a lot of certifications in my background. But with Tamar, we created the Caregiver Coach Training Program because we're both, first of all, were and are caregivers in different capacities, different family members. We're very passionate about caregivers. And we're coming today because we want to take this a step further. And in addition to connecting with your organization and offering what we know how to do, we also want to take it one step further and do the research so we can really prove the value of the coach approach and the coach model to caregivers, family caregivers, not just therapy and not just support groups, which are amazing and wonderful. And we love them and we believe in them. We want to add another modality to that basket. So there's so much more that that the medical system, the health system can offer family caregivers, and that family caregivers can benefit from. So, with your permission, I'm going to share my screen, and Tamara and I are going to walk you through our offer, and then we're going to open it up, take some questions, have a discussion, and of course, we're going to leave our contact information so that anyone who's watching the recording can also contact us with questions, thoughts, anything else. Okay.
Good. Can we actually all introduce ourselves? Because I'm not sure all of us know each other.
Wonderful.
Too, real quickly. So I think most people have seen my name before. I'm Bonnie Dwyer, a physician, and also one of the co-founders and executive directors of CAMK2 Therapeutics Network. And I am, of course, I have a daughter who's 20 years old who has CAMK2B E110K, which is the second most common mutation that we're aware of. And she's like a 3-year-old. And I'm sure as other parents here can identify with, I don't think until the last year or so that I realized that I have caregiver fatigue as both a physician and as a mother. I'm not sure that terminology, I'm not sure ever understood that terminology. But the moment somebody mentioned it, I was like, I'm exhausted, and that's what I have. And I was so thrilled that Sherry and then Tamar reached out to us. So thank you guys for being here. I'm glad everybody's here. I'm going to turn it over to Sherry and Tamar, but I'm just going to put one thing out there because I'm a physician and I can't help it, is that what I see these terms, autism, mood disorder, anger stuff, these are all symptoms from CAMK2 dysregulation. And what I see is that we should be having, I've got a presentation I can do kind of talking about the biology behind it, but I think the biology is very treatable. Let's give us a few years because I think we can do it. And I think we can't fix things, but I think we can make all of our lives a lot easier. In the meantime, we'll have Sherry and Tamar help us cope.
So before we go into caregiving, I want to say something on a personal level because I'm very emotional right now, having a bit of a deja vu. This takes me back about 20 something years. I was diagnosed with a rare heart and lung condition, and I reached out and created a patient organization. And the energy was the same. I can feel the need, and it's just so touching what you're doing here, reaching out to each other and breaking through the loneliness of it. It's so difficult to deal with a health situation, whether you're the care recipient or the caregiver, and we're going to be focusing on you, the caregivers. But breaking through that illusion of isolation and reaching out, it's almost as if, you're all holding hands. So that's amazing. So, and I will say this, that Tamara and I are here because we have a deep calling when it comes to caregivers. It's like, this is our passion. So we come with our hearts and our love, offering you something very concrete, but doing this out of a sense of a deep calling. So thank you for opening your hearts and opening the gates. And Tamara, let's say a few words about what we want to offer. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, speaking of ADHD, I have like a gazillion tabs open, and I always lose. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So basically, this is a collaboration project between CAMK2 Therapeutics Network and HMCI, the Health and Medical Coaching Institute, for the summer of 2026, and it's a caregiver coaching project. So this means that the caregiver, you, are at the center of this program. This is all about you, not about your precious children. You love them. We know that. And we can only imagine that for the most part of your day, the focus is on them. And we want to focus on you. So Tamara, let's say a few words about what is caregiver coaching.
So caregiver coaching, as we wrote here, and I'm very glad that this is recorded and will be sent to other people because we have it written down, and I hope that, and I invite you to, if you have any questions, to write them down and we'll answer them as we go through this. And hopefully we'll be able to give a very clear presentation about what is caregiver coaching and hopefully why you should or you can spend a little bit of your very, very precious time and devote to taking care of yourself. And hopefully you'll be a little less exhausted, not necessarily during the day, but as we go through this process. So caregiver coaching supports people who are caring for someone with a health or medical condition, as opposed to other coaching, which is about where do I want to be, what kind of life do I want, what choices do I make. This focuses primarily on caring on supporting you, the caregiver. And the process develops emotional, cognitive, and mental coping strategies, strengthens relationships, and increases emotional agility and resilience for the sake of improving quality of life, both for you as well as your ecosystem being your children, your partners, your parents, your career, whatever it is in your specific ecosystem, and possibly this ship that you're all on together, in the metaphor that was given before. So in the ship that you're all on together as well.
Yeah. We also want to make another distinction between caregiver coaching and life coaching, for example. And that has to do with the energy of it, meaning that in life coaching or business coaching or executive coaching, we have a client that chooses the journey. There's a desired outcome that they want, and they come for coaching and they say to the coach, hey, coach, I really want to make this change in my life and get myself from point A to point B. Help me. In caregiver coaching, we have people who have been chosen by a journey. Nobody chooses for their loved one to have to deal with a medical crisis. And yet people show up to be caregivers, which means that in a way, the journey has chosen them and they didn't choose the journey. And within that context, we want to increase choice. And we want to help our clients set desired outcomes and do all the things that Tamal mentioned here that are included in the definition of caregiver coaching to improve their quality of life. And quality of life is something subjective, and different people define quality of life in different way, and that's part of the process as well. So this collaboration has two objectives. The first objective is to provide a structured caregiver coaching service to the members of the CAMK2 community. That's the first objective. And the second objective is to be part of a broader research study designed to measure the impact of the HMCI model of caregiver coaching. So let's say a few words about the process.
So
Okay.
what we would like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Sherry. No, go ahead.
Okay. So let's ping pong this between us. Okay. So if you feel that this is for you and you want to experience what caregiver coaching can do for you, how it can help you increase your resilience and create coping skills and improve your quality of life and everything that we mentioned, please send us an email, okay? And this is the address, tamar@h-amci.com, and say, hey, I'm in. I know that some of you have signed up with Bonnie and Diane. We have that list and we will contact you. But if you haven't, please send us an email. You will get from us, whether you're going to be signing up through this email or you already signed up, an email with tentative dates to schedule a pre-coaching interview. So Tamar, say a few words about that pre-coaching interview.
Right. So the interview is the same interview from our perspective. And of course, the other side, your answers would be very different. This interview, will be 30 minutes long, and it will be either with Sherry or myself.
Mm-hmm.
The interviews are recorded, and yet participation confidentiality will be strictly maintained. The reason that we're recording it is so that we can have a research project here, so that we can do some work with it. And only the aggregated and the anonymized data will be reported. So we have questions that we can use for our research project. And then we're looking forward to hearing your answers and to your responses. These interviews are done on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, it'll be with either Sherry or myself.
Yeah. Once the interview is completed, we assign you with a coach, and the coach is going to contact you and invite you to schedule the first coaching session out of 5. So this coach is a coach that has been trained by us. The coach is supervised by us. This is an experienced, certified coach with a lot of experience. The sessions are confidential. They're going to be online, between 50 to 60 minutes each session. The scheduling is flexible. You schedule the session with your coach either once a week or once every 2 weeks, because we want to create momentum, okay? It's important for us that you know that these coaches adhere to the ethical guidelines of the International Coaching Federation and an additional ethical guidelines of HMCI. And after that, we will have another interview with you, 30-minute post-coaching interview. We're going to be asking you the same questions, and we are interested in your answers and the process and your experience from the coaching.
Once this whole process is over, this whole process of these 5 sessions, which is not a lot. I want to emphasize that, it's not 5 sessions. There's no magic here. It's not life-changing. It's not going to, I don't want to put anything down on it, but 5 sessions, as we all know, it's part of a process. It's a dip in the water, or it's something. It's something. It helps us to build our resilience. And there There are immediate tools that everyone will be able to take home and to use, but there's no magic here. I wish there was. I wish there was a magic wand and that would be it, but it's not. So we also invite you.
I want to pause you just for a sec, okay? Because I just want to say, when we say it's not magic, it's kind of like, coaching lingo. But what we mean is that we don't fix you in 5 sessions, okay?
Right.
We work with you. And in those 5 sessions, we will create together with you a toolbox of coping skills that you can implement in your life, okay? So yeah, 5 sessions, not a long process, but it's enough to create a foundation and create that toolkit that you can then use. And then
definitely, and that you will start to use during that period of time. So then after this part of the process, anyone who wants to can continue working with the coach that they have been working with for another 5 sessions at a reduced rate of $50 a session. After that, if they want to continue for longer than that, then it's between them and the coach. And I would like to emphasize here that the coaching is individual. So even if there's a couple who wants to do it, that's wonderful, but they do it separately and each one will have a different coach. It's not couples counseling or couples coaching.
No. Okay.
So if there are any questions about this, feel free to write them down, yes, or to ask Bonnie,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So we'll just say a few words about the timeline maybe, and then Bonnie,
Okay.
we're going to open up for questions and conversation and anything you want to know. Does that make sense? Okay. So just a general timeline, okay? If you're interested and you want to send us an email, we have a window of up until July 9th. Send us an email, okay? We will send you back just an agreement that states all of this, just so you say, hey, I know what I'm getting into. I know it's a study, okay? And during the week of July 13th, we want to do most of the personal interviews. Again, we're going to be flexible because we know that you are busy people, but this is a general timeline that we want to present to you. Between July and October, we want to conduct all the coaching sessions, whether it's once a week or once every 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks after your 5th and last coaching session, we're going to contact you to schedule the post-coaching interview. So I'm going to stop sharing now and invite questions, thoughts, anything you want to ask us, anything you want to share with us.
We'll start with Bonnie.
I just wanted to point out to everybody that HMCI is highly subsidizing this for our group, for CAMK2 Therapeutics Network. CAMK2 Therapeutics Network is paying a little bit of money, but not as much as they deserve. So the first 5 sessions are at no charge to the participants. And I do have to thank you guys for that.
So Liz asked if these are coaching trainees. They're not coaching trainees, let me be clear. Everyone is a certified coach with experience, many years of experience. They're not coaching trainees at all. But no, they do not have necessarily disabled children, or are they disabled themselves, or have any disabilities. And no, they don't have medical background because we are not caregiver coaches are not medical professionals. We are coaches. We don't deal with the medical part of what you are dealing with. And that's very important. And I'm really glad for that question because it's very, very relevant. Everyone who's a caregiver coach, I will say that everyone who's studied with us at least, has some reason that they're passionate about this. But
most of them are caregivers in one capacity or another.
But it's their own personal story.
Yeah.
What are 2 examples, Sherry, that of goals or helps that the coaches could give or that you would give?
Okay, so let me give you a few examples of things that can be goals. Okay, these 5 sessions are basically going to be focused on your health, physical and emotional and mental. What does that mean? Whatever you choose to define. So, for example, if we have a caregiver who's also dealing with a health issue, the goal could be, how do I find time to do my own medical follow-up and eat, follow my nutritional guidelines and stuff like that. Another goal can be around stress management. A third goal can be around, how do I create a self-care plan and routine that is actually ecological to the challenges I'm dealing with, okay? It's not a day at the spa. Who has time for a day at the spa, okay? So how do I create some self-care? A third, another example could be how I advocate better for my care recipient, okay? Other goals can be around specific triggers in the relationship with my child, between me and my spouse. It can be about triggers with my friends. I feel so lonely. I feel like I have to justify. I feel like, it can be about relationships. It can be about relationships with coworkers, other family members. It can be relationships with paid caregivers. Okay. So anything that is a part of your daily life and from your perspective has an impact on either your mental health or your physical health. That's the focus. Okay. But the point is that we're not going on a fishing expedition. It's our job as coaches to help you articulate a goal. We hit the ground running. So you might be surprised. We hit the ground running. You come out of the first session with things you can already use and implement. We're very practical. Everything has to be applicable. It has to fit into your life. It cannot be another to-do list that you have to allocate more time and energy. We know you don't have it. That's the unique part of working with caregivers. Okay. Sometimes we have to take baby steps. We meet you where you are. Okay. And we help you create changes and coping strategies that fit you and fit your life. Again, to promote quality of life and to help you improve mental health, physical health. I do want to say, go back to the coaching trainees. The Caregiver Coaching Program is an advanced coaching program. We accept into this program people who are already experienced coaches, meaning they've been coaching for at least 2 weeks and they are working. If they're not working, there's no point.
Not 2 weeks, Sherry, not 2 weeks.
No, 2 years. Oh my God.
2 years.
Okay. So these have to be people, they have completed the training program, not started, but completed the training program, at least 2 years before applying for our training program. And they have to be working coaches. Okay. Whether they volunteer or not, that's, and what they charge, none of our business. But these have to be people that have experience, or else the place is not with us. And I want to say one more thing here, because I see there are lots of questions here.
1 second, their place is not with this program. That doesn't mean that they are not.
Not with this program. Yeah, sorry.
Right.
Oh my God. But I do want to say this, okay? And I'm sorry that I'm going to be a little bit corny. I'm taking a risk here, okay? And saying HMCI is not a course factory. We are here to create social change through coaching, okay? And this is why we're integrating our coaches into hospitals and clinical settings and into the community. We want to create social change around health and in medicine. We do that through the coach approach. By the way, this is also why we train physicians to be more coach-like, okay? So just saying that, and that's why we're so passionate about research.
Can I ask a question? As I understand it, there is a big difference between coaching and counseling, and I know we at CTN have made the mistake of saying counseling, and you guys have corrected us. But in my framework, and maybe you can help the rest of us, is that counseling has this idea of talking about where you've been and going through those traumas, whereas coaching is more forward-looking about how are we going to cope as we move forward. Do I have that correct?
You have that correct. And so the lines are becoming more and more blurred between coaching and therapy and counseling. We have a lot of therapists that are also trained as coaches, a lot of, dual roles. And generally speaking, in coaching, we look at the now and the future. Okay. So first of all, we're focused a lot on behavioral change. Okay. Now this behavioral change can be also emotional behavior. And it's a partnership. So from a coaching perspective, it's a bit of a different relationship, not better, not worse, just a little bit different. I partner up with my client and my patient because I'm not a clinician. And I am holding my client as someone who is naturally creative, resourceful, and whole, meaning I don't have to fix this person. They have the agenda. They know what's right for them. They know what they're clear about their values and their priorities. And I'm here to help them translate that into actions and behavioral change. So that's in a nutshell, okay, what coaching is. I hope that answers.
Thanks.
Okay. So Liz, lots of questions. Lots of therapists we've tried, are certified or has a degree, but completely unhelpful. I'm sorry to hear that. Like, seriously, that's a shame. I don't know these people, but that's a shame. I will say this. That one of the reasons that we take on to our training program coaches who work, okay, is because we don't want that experience gap. So we will train people who know what it means to coach other people, and then we will train them to be caregiver coaches. But I'm not going to train someone who just completed their basic coaching training 2 weeks ago, because that experience, there's a gap when it comes to, the theory, between the theory and how things show up in the field. So I'm sorry to hear that.
But can I address that real quickly?
Yeah.
One of the things, my husband and I are both physicians, and one of the things we've noticed in the last 20 years, trying to get help for ourselves, trying to get help for our daughter, both medically and with, occupational therapy, speech therapy, is that training certificates don't necessarily mean anything, right? So I often think that there's several kinds of doctors. There's protocolized doctors. Those doctors don't help us at all. I don't need somebody that's an expert in ADHD because they've never seen anything like this before. What I need is somebody who's willing to understand what is the problem, what are the problems we're having here, what is the physiology of CAMK2, what are the different tools I have to think about this. And that's a much higher level type of thinking and type of physician than you're going to get. And how do you tell the difference? You can't. You got to keep trying. Similarly, we went through 8 speech therapists in the first year because I kept getting these 18-year-olds that were trying to help my daughter with comprehension. And I was like, no, it's the production. She cannot make the sounds. And of course, in hindsight, we understand CAMK2 is related to a lot of movement discoordination. It took me to the 8th time. And the moment I saw her, I was like, that's the right person. And we've had her for 18 years. I love her. And so that's been my experience, is there are people out there who can help us, but we have to keep trying. And the certifications don't necessarily tell us who can help us and who can't, but just keep trying, because there are people out there who can help us. It's not helpless. We're not hopeless.
And sometimes it has to do with rapport and chemistry, and that's okay as well. Okay, so first of all, if that's the case, let us know. You'll get another coach, of course, not an issue. But I will say this, I'm going back to your question about, whether these coaches have disabled children or have disability themselves. No, probably not. But the thing is this, they come with a skill set, and they are humble enough and professional enough to sit down with you and say, tell me what you need. Teach me what it means to be you, how your day looks like, what are your challenges, okay? And they work with you. They don't train you and dump on you rigid models. They create them with you so they are ecological for you. And that's where their mastery is, okay? They don't need to know what it is to be Liz. You know what it is to be Liz, okay? What they will do is help you create the skill, the kit that works right for you, because they know that you are the one that knows Liz the best, and they trust you for that. So I hope that answers. And I used you because as an example, because you asked the question. Okay, so you say, I need help organizing the medical paperwork and research. Fantastic, okay? Here's the thing, okay? Your coach is not going to sit and do that for you, okay? But your coach is going to identify with you where you're getting stuck with organizing the medical paperwork and research. What are the resources that you need, internal and external, and how can you get them easily with as minimum effort as possible? And sometimes that's not possible, okay? So what your coach can do with you is create a realistic, grounded plan for you to get those papers organized. I'm not saying on how can you better organize them, because that's one option out of many, but to get them organized. And because your coach is not emotionally involved in your challenges, they can bring some amazing perspective to the table, or even challenge you to explore some really new and quite creative perspectives that you never thought were possible. Okay. Tamar, you want to add something?
Doing great, Sherry.
Thank you. Okay. It's great that you guys have come together to offer this wonderful service. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Listen, sometimes both Tamar and I are caregivers. So, there's something about the experience of being a caregiver. And again, you have all of these different constellations and stuff like that, but there's something so fundamental about that experience that it's almost like caregivers can identify one another. It's like, yeah, I know. Like, you and I share this experience. And again, we want to say, and Tamar mentioned that earlier, the people that take this training, this is not an easy training program. And again, we don't take on everyone. Like I said, HMCI is not a course factory. Because we have a deep social agenda, we don't accept just anyone to our coaching programs. But we can say that the people that come and complete the Caregiver Coach Program come with a passion. These are people who know caregiving personally, and this is why they're so passionate. I think close to 95% of our graduates have been caregivers or are currently caregivers. And this is why they're so passionate about coaching other caregivers. So what you get is a passionate ally. Yeah. So guys, questions, thoughts, requests?
Well, I certainly am looking forward to signing up, and really, really appreciative of what you guys do, and that you're doing it for us. Thank you.
We're doing this with you. So thank you for your trust. So I'm going to put Tamar's email address just in case you have additional questions. You're not clear on something, you want to make sure, of course, you can always contact the guys from the association. You can talk to Bonnie and Diane and Liat, and you also have Tamar's email. Tamar is simply a bit more available than I am, and she answers her emails faster than I do. So it's as simple as that.
Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. And thank you, Tamar and Sherry, for offering this program to us. We're really quite fortunate. Thank you to Liat for introducing us to Sherry and Tamar.
One of the things that we didn't mention, I would like to mention that if you're when you write to me, feel free to write what your primary language is.
Yes.
If it's not English, or if there's another language that if you haven't signed up through Bonnie, then if you write to me directly, then let me know what language you are, because we might have a coach who actually speaks your first language or native language.
Yeah.
Amazing. Liat, you were going to say something?
No, I just said that as I said before, it's a dream come true. And I'm so happy that we finally got to this moment. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's nice to see everybody's faces today. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
And for those new in the community, feel free to reach out to me too. If you have questions, or we're trying to all be here for each other. And if there are things that I can help you with, please let me know also.